Hello everyone, welcome back to another live stream for Flux Friday. We're finally concluding What the Flux after a good couple of months. So we thought we'd round off Flux and do a tier list in our usual format. So we've got no Melv tonight, but I'm back with Luke.
Yeah, we're back on our usual Friday night slot now for a stream. Our sixth of the year, I think.
I know we're flying through this year.
Yeah, we really are. I think
Pumping the
we're going to
streams.
aim for like 52 in a year.
Oh, I think we might do more at this point.
Yeah,
The way
that's
we're
true.
going. Yeah.
Oh no, 5th of the year. Sorry.
There we go.
Getting ahead of myself.
Soon we'll be.
Yeah.
So we'll go on.
Oh, how have you been? I was just going to say.
How have I been since our
last 2 days?
last 2 days. I've had this arrive, which I think is very on topic, which is the Flux Steelbook, which that's not even out yet. I think it's not out until Monday on home media. Very nice, very pretty.
Your early delivery.
Got the early delivery, which I'm kind of shocked about. Yeah. Obviously, we'll talk more about Flux later on the stream. Very nice artwork by, I think, Alex Zank. I think that's inside there. Got your lovely art cards and 2 discs. I was quite shocked when it was 2 discs, but I was like, oh, it's quite a short series.
Yeah, you think they'd at least squeeze the 3rd one in or so? I don't know.
Yeah, for like special features. But again, the thing with these new series releases, the special features are all online. So
yeah, it's very bare bones, aren't they?
When you compare it to the collection boxes, which I'm sure we'll talk about season 22 later on once we've talked about Flux. But yeah, that's mainly what I've been doing. How have you been doing?
I just had a random thought. What if they go around and do the collection boxes again as steelbooks?
Do you know what? I've prepared myself for that.
Oh, really?
And I feel like, knowing me, I would have to double dip. Well, it'll be triple dip at that point, wouldn't it?
That could be some beautiful artwork, though.
I always thought that the collection box set artwork lends itself with steelbooks, but it's weird that they haven't done that.
Yeah, it's in its weird own packaging. Yeah.
Maybe because the packaging's already limited edition, they don't want to go, let's do another limited.
Yeah,
like I'm sure you can get it custom made, but that will be really expensive to try and make a homemade steelbook. Really?
Yeah, I think some people do, but yeah, I suppose you just swap all the discs over, don't you?
Yeah, just get the case made and whack them in.
Yeah, anyway, I've been fine over the last 2 days.
I'm glad about
that. Yeah, not really too much happening, but it's the weekday. Glad it's the weekend coming up.
Oh yeah, always good. Always good to have the weekend.
Yeah, always happy to just sit down and have a stream to lead us into it as well.
It is, yeah. I feel like the streams are a highlight of my week, really. So to look forward to going, can sit down tonight and talk about Doctor Who. It's wonderful.
It almost felt a bit wrong doing it on the Wednesday, because then after that I was thinking, it's the weekend now. Oh no, it's Thursday.
Got over 2 days.
Yeah.
But here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Yes. Hello, Stylish One. Hello, Ben Miller. And hello, the Knights of Awesomeness. Welcome. Are you new around here? I've not seen your name in the chat before. Have you crashed, Ben, or have you overheated?
Oh no, I'm here.
Oh, you're a bit you're frozen for me for a second.
Yeah, it just cut out then, like the audio. Strange that.
Oh, that's strange. Yeah. Ben Miller asked, "Do you think expanded media should delve deeper into Bell and Vinder's backstory?" So that's on topic for Flux.
I don't think it's anything
Ben has cut out again, so I'll just answer quickly. I'll say, he's back.
I'm back. I wonder why I keep cutting out. Is this crazy? I wonder if it's the camera. I don't know. Or is it the Wi-Fi?
But is it connected to the mic?
Yeah, it's connected to the mic and everything. Yeah. So it must be just the stream, actually. Oh dear.
Hopefully that resolves itself.
Fingers crossed.
But as per Bell and Vinder's backstory, I think that's more the backstory is not too interesting. I mean, we've already got some of Vinder's backstory, but I wouldn't mind expanded media exploring what they do next with Carvanista. Go forward with that, get them a Big Finish spin-off or something. And then with that, you can always tie in like little bits of backstory every now and then.
Definitely down for more Carvanista.
Yeah. Have a flashback or something as well at some point. Or, have been meet a character from their past. Just in the usual fashion rather than a full-on exploration of their backstory. Yes, and hello, Stylish One. This, to me, is easily Jodie's best series. I adore the serialized format and hope it continues into future series. Yes, but that's one of the big selling points of Flux, really, isn't it? The serialization.
I think that was the exciting thing about Flux, to experience it serialized. And I think for the most part it worked, because Flux, the cliffhangers were some of the best the show's had in many, many years.
It certainly felt like there was more fan discussion week to week.
And I'd say, on the most part, Flux was pretty well received.
Yeah. They seem to do all right viewing figures as well.
Yeah, especially when you compare it to some of like the streaming services, like the Disney Plus sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Should we dive into the tier list?
Yeah. One last thing. So someone says, think of how many copies of Spearhead you'd own if they did a Steelbooks.
I wouldn't want to damage the Steelbooks as Spearhead. But I'd definitely buy all the Spearhead Steelbooks. So if I just load the old tier list up, because I'm very conscious now of actually crashing.
Yeah,
and cutting out. So I'm like, right, I want to try and get this done as quick as I can.
Knights of Awesomeness also says, my favourites from Flux were War of the Sontarans and Village of the Angels. I think those are two reasonable takes. I think.
Yeah.
Well, as we go through this tier list, you'll see we'll probably end up agreeing with that. But yeah, Halloween. Well, actually, you take it away this time. You've done this tier list.
Oh yeah, this is my creation of a tier list. So top tier, we have Top Dog, relating to the good old boy Carvanista. We have I Found Myself Excited, referencing the good old Sontarans. We have Fluctuating, because Flux, and but a 50-50 episode, I would say.
We love our little puns.
We love our pun. I tried to get a pun in every one of these. Wok was in that soup, to reference the famous Wok and Dan with his soup. And to quote Evil Dan, what's the point of being alive? So those are our tiers.
There we are.
So Halloween Apocalypse. We've talked about the first 3 episodes. This is more just to say
4, actually.
Well, 4, yeah, 4. Gosh, I forgot we did Village of Angels.
Yeah. I think we might have done that like a week after or so. Or like quite.
Yeah, we did it pretty late, actually. Yeah, did do that one quite late on.
Yeah,
cause I think it came out the day Survivor Flux aired when I released it. So yeah,
because I think we ended up, as happens towards December, especially for you with uni work.
Yeah,
ended up just getting a bit overwhelmed and found ourselves with less time to record. Really, so
yeah, it's always a way.
Cut What the Flux a bit short with the intention of coming back to it sometime. As we are now. We finally got around to it.
So Halloween Apocalypse.
Yeah. I mean, this is an interesting one, because when we first reviewed it, we only had this episode out and we had lots of things set up, lots of different things going on. We didn't know how it was going to be taken forward, whether the payoff would be worthwhile. So this is one that very much depended on the overall narrative, really, to see before giving it a proper judgment, I guess.
Yeah, I guess this is a good thing about doing this tier list, that we can sort of judge it as a whole now instead of speculating. And like you say, does it still hold up?
I'd say it's just a roller coaster ride. Just something to stick on, kind of switch your brain off to and have fun with. Yes. but it certainly feels lesser now than it was before, with a lot of questions not really getting answered. You had that weird thing with the signal and such, and all
Yeah.
that stuff in Iceland that just it felt wrong at the time. And now that we never even got anything more of that, like there was brief talks about them being imprisoned as humans or whatever as their punishments, and that's obviously what happened to Azure. But it's just too brief to really count. So
Yeah.
that's like just one weird moment that doesn't pay off. And yet the whole Claire thing as well, we got that answered in Village of the Angels. That sort of felt a bit forced in hindsight.
Yeah, but she's a clairvoyant, bit on the nose.
But yeah, still some fun stuff in there. And I suppose the whole Carbonista companion thing as well makes it feel even more awkward that he tried to kill her at the very start.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like it's probably, I found either fluctuating or I found myself excited for me.
I think it's a good episode in putting the pieces together, like the way it introduces Swarm.
It puts everything on the board really well.
Yeah, and that's one thing what I admire about Halloween Apocalypse. Sadly, that goes out the window pretty late on. But
like
I'd
Swarm
agree.
has that brilliant intro,
Yeah,
and then doesn't really. This is probably his main episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't remember that many strong Swarm moments throughout the rest of it.
I say
Like, he's
episode 2
completely
still
absent
strong.
from episode 4. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just as
Yeah,
in
you get
episode
some
4.
good stuff in there. Yeah. Episode 5 doesn't turn up until the end. Oh no, there was a brief little bit with Vinda, but even
yeah, it's just weirdly spliced together. I think Flux in a way. It feels like it was a bigger series, but then pandemic happened, and I think for the most part it still works. But I think you can definitely tell what bits would have been more developed and more expanded on. But
yeah, most definitely.
I think
And I
for
think
me,
also, I imagine they filmed more as well, and it just got cut down. Because when you hear things about like the final edit and such, like particularly relating to that guy who gets killed in the Vanquishers, like
by the Grand Serpent.
Yeah. Like I remember people talking about how people like in the know saying that's like a casualty of the final edit, and there probably would have been a bit more there. So who knows with that?
Because when I was getting images for this tier list for Halloween Apocalypse, it said extended cut. I was like, there's an extended cut of this. So maybe if we ever get a collection series for these, maybe we could get the extended cuts of these.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't release them now or even put them out like that, because surely
deleted scenes or something like that.
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, back to Halloween Apocalypse.
Halloween Apocalypse.
Where would you want to put it?
I did find myself excited by it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one that ramps up the excitement at the time.
Yeah, it encapsulates the falls with like Chibnall, with like the clunky exposition dialogue, with like the gravity bath thing at the start. You're like, oh, okay, maybe it's the same old Doctor Who, but yeah, it has its moments where you're like, this is good.
Yeah, it's a bit fresher after a while.
I mean, Dan definitely freshened it up a bit. Like I think Dan, sadly, again, he's a casualty of Flux.
Yeah, he starts off quite good, and then he's just sort of there really, and it's mostly John Bishop's charisma in the performance that carries. Yeah, like in terms of writing, there's not a whole lot there. I mean, you got the whole thing about we're 7 out of 9 episodes into Dan's journey now. He got told off for saying that he's a plasterer from Liverpool. All we've seen is that he's from Liverpool. There has been no reference to plastering, other than briefly in Halloween Apocalypse, Diane says he has a trade. Doesn't specify what the trade is, but yeah, that is the closest we get to him being a plasterer from Liverpool.
Do you feel like Dan's earned the right to be a companion? 'Cause you could say he hasn't had a moment where he's like, that's him earning his key to the TARDIS. He's just been along for the ride, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
got nothing else to do. I'll join you."
It feels like they tried to do that with War of the Sontarans. Like, it's very much they're like trying to help the Doctor, but I don't. There just doesn't seem to be any terms of depth to his character, sadly.
Yeah.
Like, he's just there to help out, really. He's a very nice guy, and that's fine, but there's just nothing more to it. Like, there's never any second thoughts or anything. He never really seems that scared of the monsters, which sort of takes away their threat and also his believability a lot of the time.
He sort of takes it in his stride. Like, you can
Just
understand
too
with Carver
well.
and Easter in a way, because like, oh, it's
Yeah, like
Halloween. You
Halloween.
can get away with that, but yeah, everything else is a bit, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, like you needed a few more moments of him feeling afraid and just human in general, really. Yeah, I think it is mostly same with what we had with Graham. It's the actor's charisma that elevates the role, really.
I think going back to your point about him taking it in his stride, like even with Daleks, he's like sacrificing himself so they could get the loop. Like, he's seen what the Daleks are. They try and build the fear factor of the Daleks, yet he's still willing to go, oh, don't worry, I'll slow him down for you. Like, he doesn't know if he's going to make it to the next loop, but yeah, he does take a lot of things in his stride.
Yeah, I mean, companion-wise, while we're on this, Yaz grew on me this series, actually. Again, after a while, it felt like she didn't have much to do. But at least Halloween Apocalypse, especially, it felt like they were trying to give her a bit more.
Yeah, because I think the problem with Yaz, she didn't have a character, I guess, up until, I mean, people could argue with this, but I'd say Can You Hear Me was the first episode you tried to explore Yaz as a character. Like, Demons of the Punjab was meant to be Yaz's story, really. But again, she's very much sidelined in that.
Yeah,
and I think Can You Hear Me's the one where we go, okay, this is going to put a bit of focus on Yaz and her, mental health and that sort of side of it.
But even then, she feels mostly sidelined. She's not a big part of the conclusion. And I think that's the thing with Chris Chibnall in general. He oddly wants a whole crew of companions, but he only ever puts the Doctor in focus, really. Like, the Doctor's the one they're doing, and the companions are just there helping. Whereas a lot of the time, early RTD era, some stuff with Amy as well, and early Moffat, you will see the companions doing a lot more. Like Rose's first story, she's the one who defeats the nesting consciousness at the end there. Like, you feel like you were saying about with Dan, he doesn't feel like he's necessarily earned this place. With a lot of previous companions, you feel like they get the chance to earn it.
Yeah.
I think by this time as well, what helps the dynamic here is that rather than having 3 new people on boards who are on equal footing, with Yaz and Dan, there is differences there, and that Yaz is the more experienced one, Dan is the new one. And so they're put into different roles a bit more. They're not as interchangeable as Yaz was with Graham and Ryan. So that's one area where I feel Flux has improved.
Because I think, again, Chibnall's very much known for like serialized drama, like Broadchurch. So I think that he definitely played to his strengths in the beginning. I think. Yeah.
But that's what. Shall we talk more specifically about War of the Sontarans now?
Yes, we can.
Because I think one of the great things about this series and the Chibnall era in general at the moment, with the Sea Devils coming back, is the authentic takes on classic monsters.
Yeah.
But revamped in a new way.
Yeah.
Like, it's a design and a performance that doesn't feel like it's ashamed. Even in the writing, you have the great Commander Lynx reference there. You feel like this is doing what a lot of other franchises are doing now, like Marvel and Star Wars, where it's done in a way that's both for the fans and for new audiences. it doesn't alienate, but also it gives the source material the respect it deserves and just says, this is a great design. Let's do it with modern technology, not this is a great design. Let's redo that design and sort of have it be similar, but not quite the same. Like, obviously, there's some changes to the design, like you got those shoulder pads and such, but you look at it and it just
The
feels
silhouette's
like,
still there.
yeah, it feels like a classic Sontaran upscaled, I guess.
Hmm.
And I mean, we loved the performance, didn't we? We were loving that little glimpse we got on Halloween Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I find myself excited. The tongues.
Yeah. We're excited about tongues.
Just and just like that as the throwback to it all
Just
felt
little things like
so
that.
right. Yeah.
It just makes us just happy little fans. Happy little
Mm.
fans indeed. I think Chibnall gets the balance between that warmongering species and the humour of the Sontarans, really.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it leans too strongly either way.
So I think Moffat leaned more into, oh, these are silly potatoes. They're funny. Whereas I think Chibnall's definitely proved the Sontarans as sort of, they are a B monster, aren't they? They're like B tier. But he made them feel more like an A tier monster by the end of Flux and like Vanquishers, with them basically sort of going, ha, Daleks, Cybermen, ha, we've got you. We're going to trap you.
I do like the meta nature of the Vanquishers, where you have this B tier villain. Chibnall knows they're B tier, but they're trying to take out the A tier, Daleks and Cybermen to sort of prove themselves.
Yeah.
So it's quite something about that really tickles me. I mean, we'll get to Vanquishers later.
Yeah, we
because
get to
there's
that.
not much else that I rate about it, but that's one of the elements that I do that does get a thumbs up from me. In concept, definitely. But yeah, here, no Daleks, no Cybermen. This is just the Sontarans going up against humans. Great scenes of battles between them.
Great scale to it. Great scale.
Yeah. I mean, is there more for the imagery than any necessarily like commentary, I guess, on the Crimean War and such?
I think Stuart Hardy put it best. Is like Chibnall got the first line of the Wikipedia page of the Crimean War, and that's as deep as it goes into it. And I think if you look into why the Crimean War happened, this story makes absolutely no sense why it would happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice idea, like them slotting themselves into history, but it is just a base level thing. There's not that much more to it. But for the visuals, especially some great visuals, like with the mist and such, it does all feel right. I mean, just in terms of Flux, I'd say this is top dog.
Oh, this is my favorite of Flux. Easy. I love Mary Seacole. I think the characterization and performance was brilliant. I think go on.
Shifting the companions out of it a bit, giving them their own subplots, it really allows Jodie Whittaker to shine a lot more.
I was just going to say,
probably her strongest performance. It's where she feels most doctorish to me, and is one of my favorite Jodie episodes, both because of that in terms of writing, and it allows her performance to come out a lot more.
I feel like when Jodie has a classic monster, she somehow sort of elevates herself a lot more. And you definitely get that, especially when she's confronting, like parlaying with the Sontaran general.
Yeah, I like how you feel the frustration with the humans as well, as she's trying to get around that.
How do you feel about the sort of black and white section of this with sort of the house now?
Pretty pointless.
Yeah, it didn't lead anywhere.
No.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it was just sort of there to be a cool visual, really. And it was that, but yeah, it just does feel more like it's there to dangle things in front of you that you're not actually going to get.
I don't think it taints it as much as some other things that have happened in previous series.
No, I think it's only like a 2-second, 5-second moment, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very short. It doesn't add or take anything away from the story, and it
Mhm.
is fairly forgettable. Like until you
Yeah.
mentioned it just then, I forgot it was even in this one. I think that's because of Flux as a whole. You've got different things going on at different points. You can lose
Mhm.
track of where some of them take place. But I don't... Yeah, this is probably one you could stick on as a standalone. You don't have to like rewatch the whole of Flux if you just want to watch War of Sontarans.
So I'd say the two stand out to this series for people are Village of the Angels and War of the Sontarans. Probably the two standalones of the series, really.
Yeah, very much so. Maybe exclude more so War of Sontarans, I'd say, because Village of the Angels does sort of loop back round to it by the end.
Yeah, because you have the weird thing on with Atropos with, is it Williamson, isn't it?
Hmm.
And then you have obviously a Swarm and Azure on Atropos as well, and Yaz.
Yeah, and Vinda.
And yeah, Vinda, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure
because
we'll
he
talk
was
more
still
about
quite
Vinda.
prominent here, but then after Bell gets introduced in the next episode, he sort of just gets forgotten about. Oh no, I'd say Once Upon a Time as well. He does good. We get his backstory there. But then for the last 3 episodes, he's just there. Really. Just feels
Yeah,
like we've introduced him, but now we don't know what to do with him. Which is the story of a lot of Chibnall's creations, sadly.
And yeah, certain characters get done dirty. I'm sure we'll talk about Mr. Jericho.
Oh yeah, we got all that to come.
Got all that to come.
Yeah. Also, while we're talking about things connecting, this feels so disconnected from what we get at the end with the Sontarans and the Vanquishers. Because it's like a second invasion attempt in a row, but so weirdly disjointed from the first.
See, the way I perceived it, it was that the original ones what invaded the Crimea.
But then you've got that sorted out in this episode anyway, because Stan deals with the ones in the present. And yet at the same time, you've got this force that's built up to fight against the occupation of Sontarans by Kate Stewart. But surely that occupation should only have happened about 10 minutes ago, based on the way the episode flows, the point of view of it with Carvanista and Bell up in space. They should literally have only just arrived through the shield.
Yeah. Because I thought, because Survival of Flux is sort of like a flashback episode in a way, isn't it? Of like the Grand Serpent. So I thought, oh, this is how the Sontarans sort of sneak through. But
yeah,
obviously I'm completely wrong.
Yeah. Like, I can see why you'd be led to think that. But obviously, it just feels like they completely forgot the Sontarans invaded in episode 2.
Yeah.
At least because like they slipped in before the shield went up, launched an attack into the past, got that whole fleet wiped out, and the ones in the past got destroyed. Then another lot turn up outside the shields, attack the shield, kill all the Lupari, and then get inside. But I'm not quite sure how they did that before, while also was there a gap in the shield at that point? I can't remember.
I think so. There was like one Lupari ship went rogue or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think that one drifted away.
Was that the one Carvanista recalled or so? I can't remember.
Oh no, yeah, because one went away for unknown reason. That's why Carvanista recalled Bell's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. And then somehow Sontarans must have slipped through that. It's one of those things where, as a whole, once you get to it, it really starts to crack.
You enjoy it at surface level, I think.
Yeah.
Should we take a look at the experimental one of the series? Once Upon Time. People found this one really confusing.
I found it pretty straightforward, really.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one actually.
Yeah,
I really
like
enjoyed it.
no more so confusing than maybe Vanquishers,
Yeah.
but that just felt more messy, whereas this felt deliberately confusing, but also followable.
Hmm.
Like you're caught in this time. It feels like it's all relatively well explained how it's working.
Yeah, because it's sort of
Yeah.
following each character's sort of story and like the time storm and how I thought it was a good use of COVID in that sense. They used the people in the bubble to play
Yeah,
like
that was
the other
clever.
character. I thought that was a nice way of doing it.
Hmm.
But the Joe Martin thing, it lets me down. Lets it down for me. We could have had a proper look at Joe Martin. And I get Jodie's. Jodie does a lot actually. She plays many variants of her Doctor, and she plays a fugitive Doctor as well. So yeah, that's
Hmm.
cool. But I would
She
have
plays
preferred Joe
a
Martin.
police officer as well.
Yeah, that was nice. Jodie really excels at those little bits, and I thought, oh, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Again, it acts up set up for like the Weeping Angel. Like, why is that Weeping Angel following Yaz? Do we ever get an answer to that?
Hmm.
Don't know.
I feel like you might do, but yeah, it's not on. I think it was to try and get to the doc. It was like to get in the TARDIS, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
So that
yeah,
it could then get the TARDIS to 1967.
yeah.
No, 60.
67.
Yeah, 67.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was going to trade the Doctor with the other angels hunting it to make a deal
Mm.
because she was a more valuable target. But yeah, so that worked out all right. I guess it makes sense, sort of like in that time storm setting, for an angel to be there. But it feels like more could have been done with that. That felt quite. It's just more saying there's an angel episode coming up next week rather than being an interesting story in its own right in this episode.
Yeah, I think that's my problem with it. Yeah.
Yeah. But on the whole, I'd say I found myself excited for this one.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree.
I think it was still good. And also one that still holds up all right afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it does feel weird now with the whole when we do go back to the Temple of Atropos in the Vanquishers and how it's all explained that this actually had nothing to do with the Flux event.
Yeah,
Because
because
that's what we believed when we watched it, but apparently no, it's just time running wild for different reasons.
you know when Bell sort of in like the Dalek occupation thing, and there's that weird sort of purple. Is that time? Was it purple? It's purple or blue, isn't it?
Yeah, like that's something that was introduced there and then doesn't come back until Vanquishers when it destroys Swarm and Azure. I think that's the other thing as well, knowing that they're serving an actual entity in time rather than.
I mean, I like the idea though, like space and time going at war. Like it's yin and yang, isn't it?
Yeah, I like.
It's a nice
Like the idea that
idea.
there's the friction. Yeah, there's some brilliant lines of like poetic dialogue when they're in the past and such, and like during the dark times, you can really. It's great concept stuff, but just feels too big to really be explained, and just never. It feels like it never is properly explained.
Should we move on to another highlight? Village of the Angels.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Another banger.
Yeah, I'd say so. I say another. I found myself excited for this one. I wouldn't quite call it top dog. Okay.
I think it's got some good visuals. I think again, really strong cliffhanger.
Really classic feeling again, similar to War of the Sontarans. It has that feel, the way it uses the monster, base under siege with the house, and then just sort of like the scenes on the fields and such, where it's nice and dark. You can really, it feels like it didn't quite get enough out of the horror, but it did get a decent amount out of it still.
I think out of the two Maxine Alderton scripts, I think I prefer Villa Diodati.
Oh, same. Yeah.
But I still very strong entry.
It's a shame she's never gotten to write a fully standalone one. Because both Haunting and this sort of rely on the other episodes around them.
maybe Russell can bring her back.
Yeah.
So I think she's been one of the standout things to come from the Chibnall era.
Yeah, certainly.
So it'd be interesting to see. Maybe like a Fendal story. That'd be quite cool to see. What she, because
Maybe
that'd be
see what
quite gothic.
monsters she could come up with on her own.
Yeah.
She's only done existing ones so far. Yeah, Stage One says Sontarans slotting themselves into history went nowhere. Super missed potential. That Big Finish will hopefully do something out of that one day. I feel like that's done in terms of Big Finish because it was just that one spearhead prong, and then nothing else, unless in like a completely different story, rather than one connect. But yeah, Stage One also says I love Village of the Angels. Village Under Siege type stories are my favorite types of two stories, and this is a great one for me. The Angels are great as the side cast. I love the Village so much, and it's way better than Villa Diodati, which I personally really didn't like.
Oh,
there we
hot
go.
take there.
Another one.
Oh,
I'm not particularly offended by
yeah,
that one though.
Yeah,
It's a Chibnall story still, so it has its. But yeah, one thing I'm still not a huge fan of was how Dan and Yaz are just sort of shoved off to the side again. Like their story up doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. It's just there to fill in the time, really. And then you have the obvious twist of the little girl being the older woman. And then it's a weird setting with the whole village folding in on itself. I feel like that could have been done in such a trippier way than just CGI space literally falling apart around it.
Yeah, it does seem a bit of a. It felt like an interesting way of sort of adding the flux to the story. Like it has some good visuals, like the angel on fire. I liked that a lot, and the scenes inside like Claire's mind. On like the beach, really nice. I thought that would link to like the house, but no.
Yeah, I think all the stuff with the Doctor, Jericho, and Claire is great. Like all that base under siege stuff, and then them escaping through there. Wonderful performance from Kevin McNally as well as Jericho as he confronts
I'm not
these
blinking.
Brilliant stuff. I think you weren't a fan of that in the trailer, were you? But you came around on it.
I soon fell in love with Jericho.
He's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, I feel. Oh, go on.
I was going to say, was it the trailer that you were put off by? I mean, you were as well, but was it the whole episode you weren't a big fan of Jericho but then you later mellowed on him?
Yeah, I think I rewatched the episode and I was like, oh, he's all right actually. But yeah, I feel like the last act of Village of the Angels, with like them going through like the cave with like the different angel hands, it felt very. It feels like it lends itself to like an escape room or like a whatever you'd get in like Time Fracture. It sort of reminded me of the thing in the Doctor Who experience of like Weeping Angel, but you had to walk around like a maze with angels and get like a time crystal or something like that. So it had that sort of vibe to me in a way that.
Yeah. Yes, but should we move on to Survivors of the Flux? I forgot what it was called for a second there.
Yeah, this is new territory, I guess.
Yeah, here we are, all caught up. But it's weird that people were freaking out that it was called the Survivors of the Flux and thought this was going to be some big spoiler at the time. But no, it really doesn't mean anything at all because it turns out the Flux finished at the end of, that first Flux event finished at the end of Halloween Apocalypse, and we just didn't know.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre and just feels very clunky storytelling. But then suddenly we're getting another Flux event but we don't find that out until next week. Instead, we've just got them looking for the date at the end of the world. Dan, Yaz, and Jericho. But we don't know why at this point. It just feels weird. And it feels weird that the Doctor knows this already, despite the fact that surely it should have been Halloween that the universe is ending.
Yeah.
and it just feels like we're having another Flux event for the sake of it
I
when
think that
we've
this
already
is
got enough going on.
I think that this is the pointless episode.
Which is painful because I think it's not this episode's fault per se, because
Yeah.
it sets up a lot of good stuff that Vanquishers then just chucks away anyway.
Like, is it the Grand Serpent sending people after Yaz, Dan, and Jericho? Is it?
Yeah, it must. Yeah, because he's got that tattoo, hasn't he?
So when did that get like established?
And why? It
Yeah,
just felt like it was there for the sake of some jeopardy for the main trio, but
like the story is very much about how the Grand Serpent infiltrated Unit, which great stuff with like I think Robert Bathurst. Hearing Nick Courtney again was a delight.
yeah, I think that was all brilliant, and just the recreation of it again. Simple little things please our fan hearts.
But yeah, and I think we had this chat before that how retro is very now with sci-fi. You know, you look at Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, how they embrace 70s, and this may have solved unit dating. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Something else to come along and mess it up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure there'll
got
be
that.
something else.
Yeah, you got like that little disc thing that they use a lot in Mandalorian, haven't you? Like a huge floppy disk hard drive.
Yeah,
Like that sort of very retro feel. So the ends it's here when you've got the huge computer banks again, haven't you? All that little scanner where he finds out that he's an alien.
and just seeing the
all
TARDIS in that sort of unit lab in a way, it just like a nice little wink and nod to 72.
Yeah. That's like one of those nice things how it tries to tie it to Village of the Angels as well.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the moments where like interconnectivity between episodes works.
yeah.
Especially like when you think this is early days of Unit. But I think it's just an interesting way to tell a story, really, isn't it? Because it's not your typical story. It's this one told over 50 years through these different glimpses as the strings are slowly pulled in the right direction. And then, we get the return of Kate Stewart as well, which it feels odd that was revealed in the trailer quite unceremoniously looking back.
Like it did seem to be one of those moments where you're like, oh wow, Kate's in it.
But then she doesn't do much in this episode, but you think, oh, that's okay, we've got next week's. She does even less in that.
The Sontaran defense system. What? She didn't even fight a Sontaran.
No.
Oh, dear, oh dear.
Very messy stuff. We're coming to that.
Yeah. Like the whole sort of sequence of the Grand Serpent, like, oh, I've saw through your thing. I've got this thing, so you can't affect me. I'm like, how do you know? Like, yeah, it did seem a bit of a.
I mean, she looked in that I can just about believe because she
Yeah.
looked into the murders. You think there would be a trail there. I think I've talked to you about this before, but the fat politician who's like head of the unit oversight committee.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a shame he wasn't Toby Rowlands because that would have suited him perfectly. And I thought when I saw it, is Chibnall really going this deep cut? Is this Toby Rowlands revealed? Then you see the credits. It's a completely different name now. I can't remember. You're sort of disappointed, but that would have been perfect. It doesn't matter because it wasn't said on screen anyway, but headcanon, that was Toby Rowlands.
Like, it wouldn't. You say it's like a deep cut. For us, it would be like, oh, that's deep. But I think a general audience would still go, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, general audience, it wouldn't matter to. And that's why it would have been, because, like we say, you don't hear the character's name on screen anyway. And even if you did, it wouldn't make any difference if it's that name or a different one. Because it's just this character who's chair of the unit oversight committee. That's all it really needs.
What did you think of the Great Wall of China?
I mean, it was a bit silly, but I had fun with it, I guess. I feel like I was enjoying Dan, Jericho, and Yaz together for this one.
Bearded Dan.
Yeah. The world hopping worked for a Chibnall story, which is odd, but I feel like this is the one where it's worked best for me.
I think this is just Chibnall getting out of his system. He's like, I can't do it because of COVID. I'll do it this way.
And oddly enough, it seems to work better here than it does anyway. like you've got these great locations realized through CGI and other stuff, green screen and such, and it doesn't feel that different from things like Spyfall and Praxius when they actually went to these locations.
Yeah.
But it sort of shows, was the budget being wasted there? And of course, you've got the brilliant guru on top of the mountain. I'm teasing you.
He needs a big Finish spin-off.
There's something infectious about that character. I feel like this episode in general, just moments like that, make me like it more than I maybe should.
Mm.
I think I had a good time. I'd probably say I'd found myself entertained with this one. Or excited, sorry. But I think you're wanting to go a bit lower with this.
I would say fluctuating, personally.
Oh.
For me, I think for me, this is the weakest of the series, I think.
Really?
Oh. Yeah. I'll be honest.
We're going to differ even more on the next one then.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. So, where should we put it?
I'll let you put it fluctuating.
I'll put it there.
And then I'll get my own back.
Okay. Sounds rather sinister.
Oh
dear, oh dear.
Because Vanquishers, I would either say it's what was in that soup or what's the point of being alive.
I think the problem I have with Vanquishers is it's got so many interesting plot. It just doesn't do anything with the interesting stuff like the Watch and Tecteun.
I suppose. Yeah, she did die at the end of the previous one. We've sort of missed that whole subplot.
Yeah, we missed that whole thing.
And Swarm. Yeah, so rewind back to Survivors of the Flux here, because we have all this big reveals with Tecteun, a bit more about the Doctor's past. And then it's all sort of wasted because she's killed off pretty quickly. Yeah. And then Swarm just goes to do what she was going to do anyway.
Like, I think there's an interesting idea of like the Division. I think that was nicely done with like the Yude's a great little character within this.
Yeah. But you still don't really get a picture for what Division is. Like, you have an explanation at last. But it's hard to, like, is it still going after this? Because you never see anything more to Division other than her and the Yude. You know there's the Weeping Angels as agents. You also know they've got some like Jadoon sort of.
I think the Jadoon are there for hire though, aren't they, really?
Yeah. But they're sort of like as a bit of a side piece. Like, I think they've got their own section of them maybe in the side. I don't know, it's hard to tell. And then, like, are there more agents out there still? Or is this it for Division? Because it feels like if you're traveling to the next universe, which, yeah, that just feels like one idea too many in this.
Do you think Chibnall should have just gone balls to the wall and we're writing this universe off?
I don't know. I feel like it should have just been undone somehow, which apparently it was off screen.
Well, whatever was it like? Whatever can be expressed can be. I can't remember.
Yeah, but it wasn't bloody compressed. It was wiped out by antimatter.
Christopher H. Bidby would have something to say about that with the entropy.
Yeah, and then there's the fact that was just the reveal of it's just a wave of antimatter. Like, that feels a bit. It feels a bit basic for something this big. Like, I can accept it. But when you're waiting 5 episodes, that just feels like a bit of a clunk of a reveal. But I mean, how did you feel about all the Tecteun and Doctor stuff towards the Division ship thing? I mean, there's a nice visual there where they're like between the two universes. But
yeah, I like that. And sort of, was it there a tree, like the Tree of Life? I don't know.
Yeah, and like how Tecteun's this botanist, isn't she? Like, she's bringing her seeds with her to the new universe.
But I didn't feel anything for Tecteun.
No.
Like, it was nothing going on there, really.
Okay, good idea. Nothing done with it.
And it's not like we can go back and explore Tecteun on screen.
No. or at all,
Um,
really, other than with Joe Martin, maybe. But
like there's good conflict there for she is a character denied the Doctor a real family. She could have been picked up. She could have been lost. We don't know.
there's very
Like
much like commentary on colonialism there, isn't there?
like there's a lot of conflict and drama within there, but sadly Chibnall misses that drama and that whole beat completely and just goes, "Oh, I just got to get rid of it. Let's focus on this
Yeah.
watch," which is interesting in itself. But then that gets lost again.
Yeah, and that just ends up being pointless as well because we don't actually get anything with that in Vanquishers.
And with
We
the
get
TARDIS
tea.
being reset as well, is that what just been jettisoned?
I imagine it's still in there and it'll play a part in the centenary, but I'm done caring. I mean, I was done caring with it, then Flux started me caring with it again, and now I'm done caring with it again. God, think like I'm not as disappointed with Vanquishers because Timeless Children. We thought this is what we're stuck with now. We didn't know we had Russell coming. We know we've got Russell coming now. I can live with this. I can live with 2 more episodes of Chibnall before we get to the good stuff. But I'm done expecting anything good.
Like, we've got Sea Devils. That's exciting enough. That's enough to keep
Oh
me
yeah,
excited.
authentic design. Hopefully, along the lines of War of the Sontarans, you can get a good Sea Devil story. But yeah, in terms of overall narrative, like Flux just fell apart for me with Vanquishers. I was on the hype train. I was enjoying it up until this point. I thought, yeah, there's problems, but as long as it can stick an all right landing, it'll be good enough. It did not stick an all right landing for me. It was an absolute mess.
I think maybe because I watched it. I mean, I'm going to sound. I feel like I'm having a confession here because I didn't take. Yeah, I'm a fake fan. I didn't watch it when it transmitted. I watched it a couple of days after, so I sort of had my expectations low for it.
I mean,
seeing what
it's like
you guys were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I had my expectations fairly low for it anyway.
True,
because it's a
we're Doctor Who fans.
Doctor Who finale at this point.
Yeah.
And it's that meme of our expectations for you were low, but holy fuck.
I think it's my favourite Chibnall finale out of the 3 we've had so far.
I'm really conflicted. They're 3 quite different finales. Like this, at least, isn't an info dump. And I don't know. It's at least not boring like Ransgrav Kolos.
Yeah.
It feels like it's trying a bit more, but I mean, do I prefer the Timeless Children to this, though?
I feel like I'd rather watch the Vanquishers over those 2.
Maybe.
Like the Sontarans, they're still good within it.
Yeah, but they just feel like, we've done the Sontarans now. We had War of the Sontarans. You did him so well. You had that great stuff. Do we need him here? Do we need this other plot thread thrown in our face for the finale when we've got enough going on as it is?
Yeah, that's true. But chocolate?
Yeah, like that's a nice scene, but again, it's pointless.
Yeah, true.
And also, I think they're bribing the Sontaran with chocolate when he's occupying this entire planet that has chocolate on it. Also, the explanation for that comes along. I feel like I missed it a bit. Like the fact that they're attacking corner shops, but it feels like a lot of things in Flux, in Vanquisher, sorry. You get the exposition in the scene in the TARDIS, and then you'll have that scene itself play out. And then, you'll cut off again to some other random exposition stuff before the next scene. And it just, for me, it feels like you're reading a Wikipedia summary of the plot. It's a bit messy. It doesn't get the nuances across. And yeah, it's not really entertaining, but it tells a story still, technically. Like,
I mean, I liked how it referenced why Carvanese is a bit hostile to the Doctor at the start.
Yeah, I think Craig
That's a
Ells,
lovely moment. Yeah.
brilliant performance. Like just the eyes when he's being told by the Sontarans about all that. There's something brilliant there. That's one of the strongest performances of the whole series, to be honest. Just his reaction to that and his anger during it, and then that scene with the Doctor. But it's just little moments that don't quite work in the grand scheme of it. Because then you've got the whole thing with Dan, where he's like making a joke about it when he lets him out of the cage, and then cut to a scene in the TARDIS, and Dan's like saying about how his whole race has been wiped out. It's just there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, and then you've got the way, like, I think the passenger revolution, I thought, oh, that's quite neat. It makes sense how it was resolved in a way using passenger, but
yeah, it's like an explanation that makes sense, but doesn't feel satisfying.
like,
CGI is brilliant though. Like the scene with the Daleks turning up, I will praise that. That is brilliant stuff. Getting consumed by the flux, I can't fault that from just a visual standpoint.
What do you think about Di and Vinda? Because they're inside a passenger form, aren't they?
Yeah. Again, that's just Di giving a load of exposition for stuff that Vinda should know, technically. It feels like it's trying to explain how they get out to the audience, but it's not really interested in actually doing anything with them in there.
It's like the Grand Serpent. You built him up in your previous story. You know, he's worked his way to the top just to be shoved through a door, and that's it. It seems a bit of a waste.
They set up this weird rival with Kate as well.
Yeah.
But why? And surely you should have done more with Vinda there. He's just obsessed with hunting Kate down for no real reason.
Is it because she's the one who got away?
Maybe, but you don't get that. You don't really see that side to him, if that makes sense. Like, that doesn't seem like it's part of his character. It seems like he wouldn't really care because she's not in his way anymore. He's already controlling the planet.
Yeah, he's got what he wanted.
Yeah, and again, it's just one villain too many, with like the Sontarans there as well.
Like Swarman is very, very much on the back burner, I feel, as well.
Azure has some nice stuff with the Doctor.
Like
when they're having their chat there. I think that's when she's sort of talking about how, she sees destruction as good. Why should her point of view of good be any less valid than the Doctor's? I think that's an interesting take on morality for this very different kind of villain to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just don't really do too much with them after that. They just get killed off by time, awkwardly. In like this over-dramatic death scene.
But then we have the hint. Well, it's not a hint. It's basically said, "Oh yeah, Jodie, you're leaving now."
Yeah, but that's so bloody awkward.
Yeah.
It just feels like, can't this just stand on its own? It doesn't. Why is it having to set up what's coming next? And also, it just feels so on the nose with you're regenerating. It's not even you're going to die. It's literally just, oh yeah, you as the Doctor will be fine. You're just going to regenerate. That there's no weight to that, like.
But then you have like either the Daleks, and it's just like, oh, that's not effective. Whereas Tennant, you could see it slowly crushing him.
And like that's very much set up as your song is coming to an end. It's not. I mean, we as the audience know he's going to regenerate. Like we know the Doctor's not going anywhere. But in the story, we don't know that. The Doctor doesn't know that. Like he's just been told your song is coming to an end. He sort of assumes, quite rightly, that means he's going to die.
Yeah.
And you're not too sure about that. I mean, you do have the stuff where he talks about how he regenerates and then some other man goes sauntering away. But I suppose also back then as well, with the whole 13 incarnation limit, it felt a bit more, but
I think
I don't really.
now the Timeless Child sort of ruined that because like unlimited regenerations.
I mean, we were pretty sure it was going to be unlimited regenerations anyway, with
Yeah,
the whole stuff in Time of the Doctor. Which presumably was just a placebo or something.
yeah, just to believe. Yeah,
Which
it's weird
I
how that
kind of
thing just
prefer, really.
ripples.
Yeah. But what are some of the parts you like about Vanquishers then? What's making you say this is better than Survivors of the Flux?
I think Jodie handles it rather well, playing the three different doctors in
Oh
like
yeah, we haven't even
different.
talked about that yet.
That was enjoyable.
But
What else? I enjoyed Jericho and Claire coming back. Well, Claire coming back and having Jericho reunite with it. Though his
that was
ending
quite sweet.
annoys me.
You deserve better.
He deserved better.
And again, that's the thing of if this story had taken a bit more time with that, it would have worked. But it's just there as like the Wikipedia notes entry of he loses his teleport ring and then dies with the flux. Like all you're getting is the basic information of what happens to him. You're not really feeling anything for it.
Like Yaz felt nothing.
Yeah, Yaz and Dan don't even get a reaction.
No. Which is a real shame.
Yeah.
They spent all this time traveling the world with him,
Mm.
and they didn't even get a moment. You can't even say it's like an Adric thing. We mustn't mourn.
No, it just feels like, oh,
The story needs to move
insert a
on now.
basic, yeah. Even then, it doesn't because we've got all these other characters standing around doing nothing. It's not like he'd be any different if he was there or not. It just feels like it wanted to pull a cheap shot with an emotional beat,
Yeah.
but misses it entirely. I think going back to the whole thing of there being 3 different doctors.
Yeah.
I think, Jodie handles that well in her performance. I like that little joke where it's, oh, you're cute. Oh, thanks. But it just feels like overstuffing the story, which is already really stuffed. And again, it's this weird thing of Chris Chibnall wanting the Doctor to be front and center of everything, not letting any other characters really have a time to shine. And you think here, you've got this huge event, you've got all these different threads going on, you should have different characters dealing with different things. But no, you just shove the Doctor into all of them, have her push all other characters pretty much aside, and do everything by herself while they're just there to fill the space. And I think what I was saying throughout Flux was that I'm glad. I think you could go back and check a lot of the videos. I feel like I said this a couple of times. Was that I'm glad it feels like different people are getting stuff to do at least.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like the character, like with series 11 and 12, you're just gathering up all these characters and they're just standing around the Doctor watching her be brilliant. To sort of misquote the third the Brigadier technically there. And like you just got so many series 11 and 12 stories just gathering this big cast, often in the TARDIS, and then just doing stuff with them. We were getting away from that with Flux. We actually had subplots, characters doing stuff, Bell searching for Vinda, Vinda searching for Bell, and so on. Carvanista defending the planet, Yaz, Dan and Jericho exploring the world, looking for clues and stuff away from the Doctor. And then suddenly Vanquishers comes along and just does the typical thing of the Doctor's front and center. Everyone else is just sort of standing around, occasionally chipping in with a line to ask a question. But even more infuriatingly than normal, this is my least favorite kind of Chibnall episode. The let's all huddle up in the TARDIS, bounce around doing different things, and then resolve the plot like that. It's the same thing I have with Revolution of the Daleks. It just does not work for me. I mean, was it too big for its own good?
It's a strange one because, like, if you look at the tier list, I feel like we've been pretty positive so far, and I think maybe it needed another episode.
Yeah, just something more. I think I feel like it could have been fine within what they had. It just needed to be better laid out, better
Yeah,
planned, better connected, things making more sense. Whereas it just feels like Chris Chibnall's constantly throwing new things at the screen to distract from other things that aren't working. And that's just making it more obvious that things are not working.
yeah, because it's like he's dug himself into a hole, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know how to get out of this. Quickly, let's add something new
Yeah.
while I figure out
I
a
mean,
way of getting out."
I feel like at least when Russell did that, in terms of like plot logic, he didn't have too much going on most of the time that it wouldn't work. But also, he still hit the emotional beats well enough, and that was all well thought out. That was planned. And so you forgive it more in those stories. Here, there's no emotion, really.
Yeah,
So, I mean, where do you want to put?
I would say it's on the same level as fluctuating. Like, it has its moments, but then it also has quite a few lows.
Yeah. What was that suit be made of? Would that be a compromise or?
Yeah, 'cause I don't think it's too bad, but I think now you mentioned the flaws, you can see where everything sort of just unravels pretty simply.
Yeah. I think this is more like maybe it's not too bad in its own in the same way that a lot of other Flux episodes are. But because this is the finale, this is all like where I'm putting the brunt of my frustrations for the whole series not working. Because it
Yeah.
feels like a lot of things that maybe weren't quite working before could have been resolved here in a good way, but
Mhm.
they just weren't. Like that whole Belle and Vinda love story of them searching for each other. It just feels like it was treading water the last couple of episodes to come to an end here rather disappointingly.
It just felt very meandering.
And then they're just shoved with Carvanista, like getting rid of. It just feels like they were getting rid of all those characters at once.
Yeah,
And
Jericho
then,
had to die.
yeah, the whole Kate doing absolutely nothing, being disappointing. One thing I did like how it was wrapped up was what's it? The Mad Mole.
Yes, yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I will commend that.
Because
But
I was
was that more
worried.
Survivors or Vanquishers that got?
I would say it was the end of Survivals, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think
'Cause
it
they
did
go
have a little add-on at the start of Vanquishers, to be fair. And that was something that was wrapped up earlier on that actually worked. Like he was sent off because he played his part now,
Mm.
which is what you need to do with more characters. You don't need them sticking around if their job's done.
Because he was one of those characters I was pretty frustrated watching because I was like, why is he in this story? But then you have the context of what happened at the end of Survivors of the Flux with like him discovering these different portals and doors.
Hmm.
I can forgive it, you know,
Yeah, I
with
think it
that
works out.
hindsight.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that does work out and does mostly make sense.
Mm.
Uh, yes, but any final things to say about Flux, I guess?
On a whole, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, but I think the more you dive into the depths of Flux and what Flux actually is,
Hmm.
there's a loads of missed opportunities, and that's a real shame because when Flux is on a high, it's really on a high. But when it hits those lows, it becomes very. It just sort of grinds to a halt, and you think, okay,
I
maybe this
think
wasn't as good
that's
as I
what,
thought it
yeah,
was.
that's what makes it even more frustrating as well. Is that there was so much potential.
Yeah.
You could see that things could have been so good, and then it just ended up not being, sadly. But yeah, I think overall, I will have fond memories of this series in terms of just the fun that was had, seeing everyone talking about it, seeing all the theorizing, us getting to do what the Flux for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I think that was quite nice, just sitting down and chatting and actually enjoying it. And I think we acknowledged that there was flaws there, but we could still have a good time with it. Now, I'm not sure how well it will hold up on rewatch, knowing where things go, but I feel like it'll have its moments and it'll have its even bigger downs.
I did add for a little bonus Eve of the Daleks because it sort of rounds off the TARDIS.
Yeah, it does.
So I added this as a little bonus. So if you're wondering why Eve of the Daleks is there, I've just put it there because it wraps up the TARDIS.
And also, we've
So
had that episode since.
We've had the episode since, and we've technically
Done in
talked
the
about
same.
it on our Dalek one. So I guess we can briefly just say where it would go on the tier list.
Yeah, I guess same production block as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I'd probably say this one is fluctuating.
Yeah, I think that it's 50-50.
It has a lot of good moments, but then just again some things that don't make sense.
Weird character beats with what's her name?
Sarah
And Nick. How she just randomly goes, go on.
Yeah, I liked Sarah as a character overall, though. But then again, similar to Dan, is it how much of that is actually writing and how much of that is just what the actor brings?
I think it was a bit of a waste of Mrs. Doyle because I like Father Ted. So I was quite excited to have Mrs. Doyle in Doctor Who, but sadly she was just basically cameo in a way.
Yeah, I think it's a weird time loop thing because it's more. I think again talking about Stu Bagfull. In his review, he points out that it's not really a time loop in the sense that when they die, only one person remembers. It's a time loop in the sense that it's a video game. Everyone respawns and you get another try.
Yeah, because that's the thing. At the start of this, when they finish like the first loop, and you get Nick and Sarah together, they have that sense of what just happened, like deja vu. Like that was nice, but they never really played with it anymore. It just became sort of common hat, really, for them all.
Yeah, that's it, really, isn't it? I suppose it's more they like dismissed it as a nightmare or something, or like. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the visuals at the end and it getting to the fireworks going off.
How do you feel about Carl coming back?
That was a bizarre little cameo, but I don't mind it.
Are we going to get more moments like that in the other two stories?
Maybe. I mean, is there anyone from the time period of Legend of the Sea Devils we can bring back? Would it be set around the same time as the Witchfinders? Could we get? Is it King Charles?
No, I think it's 1800, isn't it? The story.
Yeah, I don't know if we've had any other 13th Doctor stories set around that time.
Get a Kablam Man just appear.
Why not?
I feel like the Fajarians will come back from Demons of Punjab for the centenary.
Oh yeah, I saw someone theorize that. I think that's a fair bet, especially since she's probably going to be dying alone.
Yeah, yeah. But then I feel like Jodie's regeneration will probably be like a walk off into the sunset type thing.
Yeah, maybe. I think tweaking the style of Destiny of the Daleks, Russell could just start the 60th with like the next Doctor just walking out trying on a few different bodies in the mirror.
Yeah.
And then settle on whoever they cast as the final one.
Like the bookie's favourites.
Yeah.
And just to wind people up, yeah.
Oh, that would actually be a pretty good reveal.
Yeah, that would
Imagine
actually.
if they did that in the same... Like, no one would get the call back because people don't care enough about Classic Who.
We do.
Yeah. But nevertheless, that would be interesting.
Uh,
Ooh.
I mean, Series 14's in production right now as we speak, isn't it? You know, Phil
Yeah,
Collinson's come back as one of the producers, so it's really exciting. You sort of forget that we've got 2 more adventures with Jodie before we get to it, but
yeah. I
yeah.
imagine we've got to get the 14th Doctor announcement soon because you don't want to leave that too late and then overshadow the centenary with it. But
I think that was the problem with Flux, that you had Russell announced, then you had Flux coming out. So maybe it works in the favour of, let's see what Jodie's last series is like before Russell comes on.
yeah.
But
I know
then,
some people apparently didn't even realise that Jodie was having another series. Like with that
really,
announcement, they thought, yeah, like more casual people just thought, oh, this is what's up next for Doctor Who.
that is strange. It is strange.
Yeah. But I suppose since we're talking about news, should we move over to some news now?
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's load up the old news.
Yeah.
What bit of news do you want to do first?
Should we go in order and do season 22 first?
Yeah, I'll just do this quickly.
Yeah, I think
Get the old screen share.
Stick with Doctor Who and TV, and then we'll shift into what Big Finish has to offer.
So if I get the old screen share up, hopefully I can find it. That's the old tier list. That's not what we need. What's that window there?
Yeah, Ben Miller says, I think Russell T Davies will cast someone who's completely unknown as the Doctor. Maybe. I mean, that does seem to be the trend with a lot of Doctors, but maybe as with this, as they're trying to relaunch it, they'll go for someone a bit more high profile.
Yeah.
Stylish One says, we finally got updated time lash effects. We have indeed.
Save your breath for the time lash.
Oh, the actor's name's slipping away from me now.
Oh, Paul Darrow.
Yeah, there it is.
We knew this was coming, and I guess it makes sense. Season 22, it's 2022. Makes sense. Here we are.
Yeah.
How do we feel about it?
I'm excited for it.
The trailer made me quite... I think that's the thing with these Blu-ray box sets. You get really excited, and you think, I'm really looking forward to all this new content. Then you remember what stories are on this season.
Yeah,
Maybe.
It's
maybe
fun
not.
revisiting some of them, though. I don't think a lot of them are too bad. Like, I haven't seen Time Lash before, so that'll be interesting.
Time Lash isn't too shabby, you know.
Ah.
I think it's 6 out of 10 for me. Like, it's not bad. It's all right.
I do quite enjoy Two Doctors.
See, I think my problem with season 22 is it suffers with the awkward pacing of 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's got a weird style of its own, hasn't it? That doesn't quite work.
I think this might be sacrilegious, but I think that the Two Doctors could easily be a 2-parter. I think that one episode is just sheer filler, but that's just me personally.
It does feel a bit awkward towards the start of part 3 when you're faffing around looking for the Doctor and Shock Eye. But I enjoy it.
I enjoy Androgum Second Doctor.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a bit fun, really. But yeah, it does feel a bit more messy than some of Robert Holmes's other more tighter scripts. I love that booklet artwork, how it feels almost new series. I think leaning into the fact this is 13 45-minute episodes, very much that new series style. And there you've got something that feels a lot like some of the promo art for series 4, especially with
with David Tennant. Yeah, I see that now you mention it.
Yeah, I
think
see that style.
For me, do you know on like the Trial of a Time Lord DVD, there's like the Lost season 23? It has that sort of mock-up artwork feel to it, and like a Big Finish Lost story looks to it.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what I get off that little booklet thing. But I love the booklet artwork for Revelation of the Daleks. That's a nice little touch with the dodgy TARDIS lamp. That's a really nice. I just love the artwork for this. Actually, I'm really digging it.
I'm not as fond of the discs. They feel a bit weird, especially the Attack of the Cyberman one where you've just got that
side on view
to the side. Yeah, No, that all feels a bit. Some of the other ones aren't as bad. I mean, we've got
See,
2 discs for Vengeance of Varus and 2 discs for 2 Doctors, and then the rest have 1 disc each. Seems to be layout.
for me, I think the disc arts are an improvement on previous seasons.
Oh, really?
Because I think they sort of tend to favor Doctor and Companion on each disc, where
Yeah,
I
I
think
like it.
season 12 got it right. You
Mm.
use one character once on each disc. I think season 8's good, I think, but I think season 24 suffers. I think season 17 suffers as well.
Season
With it.
24 is not that unique. Like a lot of them you can flip round for different stories and you wouldn't be able to tell.
I think season 23 is just Colin Baker, which, I like Colin, but I don't want him on every disc.
Yeah.
And I think season
I mean,
18
here
is
is
a
he only
real
on
bad offender.
2? Yeah.
He's on Attack vs Cybermen. Oh, he's on Vengeance on Varus disc 2.
Ah, yeah.
You can see him when he's walking through that sort of facade desert.
Ah, that makes sense.
And
And then
then
he's on one more up there. I mean, he could be hiding on the Time Lash one.
it could be.
Yeah, I think that must be 2 Doctors where, yeah, he is up
That's
there.
gotta be. Yeah, 2
Probably with
Doctors.
Perry, maybe. Or maybe a Sontaran,
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to this one because a lot of them are quite early on. Like 2 Doctors quality is terrible on TVD. So it'll be good to get that brought up to date a lot more.
But it's interesting that the person who owns the film trims for the 2 Doctors has ignored every email from the restoration team.
Yeah.
So that's left a bit of a sour taste, but we could have had it HD. Well, not HD, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it still will look pretty good, I think. But yeah, there is going to be that nagging thing of it could have been a little bit better. But I can live with it as an improvement from the original 2 Doctors DVD, at least. Speaking of the original 2 Doctors DVD, something that was removed from that has been added back to this, shockingly, as we get a picture of Sontarans.
Do you think they're going to cut said person out of it?
I don't know. It was because you've got a commentary on it as well. With
You've got a commentary
Colin,
on it?
Yeah, Colin, Janet, and Gareth. I can't remember what his name.
I can see. Yeah, I can see it there. Gareth Jenkins. Yeah,
Jenkins. There we go.
there it is. Yeah.
And I think surely if they do cut out what's his face, that's going to be an even shorter commentary track, and there's not really much they can say. But at the same time, if you've got him there, even without him there, what are you going to say? How can you talk about this without mentioning the elephant in the room?
Yeah, it's not like the Louis Frew thing when he went back to his original documentary and sort of processed it all. I don't think they can do that with like a fun, quirky thing like this.
Yeah, like this
Doctor
is just
Who.
a Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You don't really need to go down that rabbit hole with it on a release like this.
Yeah, because like they removed it for obvious reasons, but I always thought that would be one thing what would never transfer onto the collection. But then these are marketed as the complete collection. These are Doctor Who archives. So you'll get some fan out there going, well, it's not really complete, is it? Because there's no fixes on Sontarans.
Yeah, but it's...
you can understand why they wouldn't put it on there.
No. And especially that the BBC was making money off him for so long, to now indirectly make even more money off him just feels wrong to all the victims.
Yeah.
But I mean, unless you've gone round and asked each and every one of them if they're
Which I don't think they would have, to be honest.
No. I mean, you always hope they wouldn't have, because you don't want to track that up for a Doctor Who DVD. I mean, they definitely wouldn't have. But yeah, it just feels a bit awkward.
But looking at the new special features, so we've got a new making of for the 2 Doctors.
That'd be interesting.
That'll be very exciting because it looks like it's going to be in the same vein as the Earthshock one, because you've got somebody dressed as one of the Sontarans. Like, I think the Earthshock one, you had David Banks in the costume, which was great. So I look forward to that.
Eric
Um,
Staywood back again.
yeah, which is nice. Because it's been a while since he's been on. Was he on one of the right? What was it? The
Oh
writers'
yeah,
table, was it?
Yeah, I think it was the Lost season
Yeah, 23 was
23 one he
it?
did.
Yeah, so it's been a
Or it might,
while.
yeah.
Then you have a nostalgic trip back with Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant going to the season 22 filming locations.
Oh, that looked good in the trailer.
That's the one I'm most excited for because, cheeky plug, me and James did the Mark of the Rani location a few years ago. And that's bizarre thinking that they were literally down the road filming that. That's so crazy. Could have nipped on and said hello to them.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
who knows when it was?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. I guess it was fairly recently because we had the leak image of Colin in the Necros morning cloak.
Oh yeah,
So
and then we saw him giving Nicola a hug in that. That was quite wholesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll be an exciting little behind the scenes look.
So we've got In Conversation. I think this is the most In Conversations we've had on the Blu-ray collection so far. So we've got Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, and Michael Grade. That's going to be interesting having Michael Grade.
Yeah, it's a funny little surprise in the trailer.
Go on.
Yeah. Speaking of the trailer, I'm not sure how I feel about the mini episodes they're doing anymore. Well, I think it was a fun little thing at first. I loved the Javanka Airlines one when it's like that out of universe thing. But now that they're trying, it feels like they're awkwardly trying to do more in universe stuff. While also it doesn't really work as canon. It just feels like this weird halfway in between, similar to like the Jodie Doctor announcement.
Yeah.
I don't. This one especially, it felt like the the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Yeah, the Ace one wasn't that great. I like the Joe and Cliff ones because they're just a bit of fun. I think that's when these work well, when they're a bit of fun, not when they're trying to do this emotional thing of the companion.
Would you say it's your least favourite of the collection trailer so far?
Maybe. Maybe the Ace. I don't know. I think the Ace one had a bit more going for it. I'd say this is probably my least favourite. I just felt bored during it. I just want to skip to the content bit with Colin giving the talk. I like that bit. That bit's all good. But yeah. Yeah, like the mini episode side of things. It just feels very awkwardly worked in there. Like season 14, that was a great one with Louise Jameson, where it is again out of universe instead.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, like with season 24's the one when they really started to push like expanded, like Mel has her own business.
I liked that one though.
You like that one?
That was an actual look back at the like this one. Problem is, it's more season 23 than it is 24. Like season 23 than it is 22.
Yeah.
I mean, it is also more season 23 than it is 24, but yeah. Like at least with the Mel one, it's looking back at the villains from that era, and I think it's also just a bit of fun in that same style. But here, yeah, again, it's the one where they try to be more fun. This tries to be a bit more emotional, and it doesn't work.
Because I think it was filmed where they filmed. Is it the Temple of Peace where they filmed End of the World and like the Silurian two-parter?
Oh, is it? I thought it was just green screen.
No, I think it was filmed. The TARDIS looked a bit green screeny.
Yeah, like that. But then they actually go up and in it. Don't they? That would feel so weird. Sludge One says that's a hot take. I've seen nothing but praise from this trailer and the other ones. I bet you prefer the older Mel trailer to the older Mel audios.
That's true. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's hard to compare, but yeah.
What would you say your favourite collection trailer's been so far?
I mean, like I said, Javanka Airlines is a good one.
That was a
but that's still like that was the one that started it all off, really, wasn't it? Because season 12 didn't have one like I'm trying to think back to some of the other ones. Probably most of them I only watch once when we have the announcement. If I go back to it, I'll sort of skip to the little bit about the contents. But how about you? Which ones you got?
I quite like the Cliff and Joe one, to be honest.
Oh, they're so just wholesome.
Naturally, yeah, like going to a nut hutch again and getting the plastic daffodils. Like it's nice, and I hope for season 9 they go to like the seaside and a sea devil appears. I want that for the season 9 one, to be honest. But then again, will they do David Troughton and do something Paladin wise? Because again, that's rumored for this year again, isn't it?
Yeah, that's rumored to be up next,
which would make sense.
Actually, got the same costumes from Legend to do.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah. I mean, what if they do something with the Time Monster and just get a bunch of babies in and pretend that they're canonically the Brigadier, Benton, and Yates?
Oh, dear me.
There's a rabbit hole you can go down with that one.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Does make you want, what would they do for season 7, though, when they've barely got any of the original actors around? Like, do you get Christopher Benjamin in for that?
Yeah.
Get him reprise, what was this? Sir Colin?
Sir Keith.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, Sir Colin's Seas of Doom. Yeah. But yeah, get Sir Keith back for the hat.
That'd be all right. Talk about Mars Probe 7.
Yeah. I'm sure there's something you could do for that one.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something.
Season 11 as well. That's another one that's quite... Get Bilal back.
Yeah, they could. Is the actor still alive, is it? Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, I don't think you could get him into a costume, though. He's over 100 at this point.
I mean, they got David Goodison.
Yeah, true. But that was just the voice, wasn't it?
I swear they got him in the suit, I swear.
Did they?
I think they might have done.
Yeah. Couldn't afford a double.
No, couldn't afford that. I am quite surprised at the... Oh, go on.
Oh, so no, you go first.
I was just going to say, like, going back to the conversations, I'm surprised Nicola Bryant's on this one and not 21.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was just about to say back to the special.
Oh, right, okay, very well.
We're on the same right track.
Okay, so we've got Behind the Sofa, always a treat with these sets. So we've got Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, Terry Malloy, Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, Sarah Sutton, and quite an interesting combo, Sylvester McCoy and Wendy Padbury.
I love how she says, "Bring back a Quark." That's what I say the day after we got the unit Nemesis. Got good news for you, Wendy. They already have.
Oh, I wonder what story that is in context.
Do you think she's just fed up with the returning monsters? Also?
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's like, why don't they bring back ours?
I mean, you got some of that Cybermen.
True, but they're not.
Yeah. Oh, I guess she's on there because she's going to be reacting to Fraser and Troughton. That'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even think of that.
Ah.
I mean, Peter, Janet, Sarah, always
good value for money.
Yeah.
This feels like a return to form for the Behind the Sofa because I wasn't too keen on the season 17 ones personally.
I didn't mind the season 17 ones, but it did feel a bit, or it didn't feel like it had that one group that ties it together and really brings it to that. I think I enjoyed Matt Irving, June Hudson, and Graham Harper all together.
They're the best. They're the best ones on that sofa, I think. I mean, Colin was not entertaining Matthew Waterhouse because I think Matthew Waterhouse was just a bit catty within that one, to be honest.
They're a bit of an awkward combo. Who was the other two?
It was Nicola Bryant and Katie Manning, wasn't it?
Yeah. They were nice together.
They worked. It was quite nice seeing Nicola Bryant tear up about Sharda, seeing Tom back. That was nice.
But yeah, it was overall, it was just a bit random, really, wasn't it? Whereas this feels like, even though you've got some connections from outside, you've got Colin, Nicola, and Terry bringing it together because Terry was in both Attack and Revelation, so You got like that nice coming full circle there with them. So, I mean, extended episodes as well. Vengeance
for
Varos, Two Doctors
Two
Part 1,
Doctors
and I
Part 1.
believe Revelation of the Daleks Part 1 as well.
Oh, more wandering around outside.
Even more of me.
That needs to be a clip for us to use.
Oh, yeah, we need to get on that.
Oh, I need to use that.
But for now, we can use a clip for your reaction to even more wandering around outside.
Oh, I should have been prepared for this. Oh, damn.
Oh, sorry. Caught you off guard there.
I'll get it up. So my reaction for more Colin Baker wandering outside in Revelation of the Daleks.
Oh, that's terrible.
Do you think we'll get something on a similar level now that we've got Peter back with Janet and Sarah reacting to this season?
I hope so, because I feel like every time Peter's on there, I want a new reaction to use for the streams.
I feel like it's interesting because with 24, you've got that degree of removal, haven't you? Like this is the Doctor after the one after him.
Yeah.
Whereas here, this is straight after he left.
I wonder if he thinks, damn, I left at the right time.
Yeah, because he was saying about how he left season 21 on the strength of season 22 stories. Whereas if he'd have known what it was like in 21, he would have chosen to stay on.
Yeah.
This is sort of like his glimpse into what might have been if he stayed on. I mean, I suppose he would then have to work with Troughton and have him say, "You didn't take my advice. You stayed on an extra year."
Yeah, that would have been a bit awkward. Or would that not have happened? Would they have done the Andrew Smith story?
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't have done 2 Doctors.
Because you've had the 5 Doctors, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like you already. I mean, I feel like I don't know, but it was around the 5 Doctors that John Nathan Turner wanted to get those 2 back at some point to do their own, to do another story. So maybe. But I think it does. It feels like it works better with the 6th Doctor, and I can't imagine it just being 5 and 2 together. Like you don't really see that much from on screen anyway in 5 Doctors. So
I think it works more for Colin because I think with Colin they were really trying to play with the unsettled nature of Colin's Doctor, that his regeneration's not going too well. He's still trying to find out who he is and all that sort of thing. And obviously as Colin went on, they wanted to mellow him. So I think that it makes sense to have Troughton, really.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, also we've been neglecting a certain someone in the chat here.
Ooh.
Mel has says, "I keep hearing Mel," and I'm like, "Hey, hi there."
Hello. How you doing? You all right? Did you have a good time at work?
Stylish One also asks, hopes for 2nd Doctor collection announcement trailers. Older Polly, older Jamie. I think you could definitely get older Jamie. Him up in the Highlands.
Yeah, recounting his stories.
Yeah. Yeah, probably older Polly as well. Like a nice little touching tribute to Michael Craze in there. You could probably work in as well.
They're definitely going to do a Michael Craze documentary, aren't they?
Yeah. I suppose I wouldn't mind. Is there a way you could do something with Web of Fear?
Maybe.
Like it's the actress who plays Anne still alive.
Yeah, she's
maybe
still,
that could work for season 5.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Have her like back in an underground set, not the actual underground.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe
they'll allow them this time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully by the time they get around to that, COVID will be less of a thing. I imagine season 5 will be a bit later on, just because we've not long had Web of Fear on Blu-ray.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get Wheel in Space to complete that. That'll be all right.
Mel says, work was dead, honestly, and I brought another Starbucks earlier, so my bank is crying.
That's what student loan's there for. Student loan will cover that. Don't worry. You can be bougie.
Starbucks is cheaper than a season 22 box set.
Cheaper than Pret as well. There we go. Sorry, James.
Throw the shade.
Throw the shade. Yeah, other special features. We've got new audio commentaries. for Revelation of the Daleks, and again that whatever we said before.
Yeah.
Immersive 5.1 surround sound.
That'll be good on those three.
I'll be honest, I've never used it, probably because I don't have the actual sound system for that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no point in using it if you don't.
Yeah. We do
Yeah.
have, I forgot to mention, updated special effects for Time Lash and I think Vengeance on Varus as well, supposedly.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It could be mistaken there, but it's normally one, isn't it? So I think it's most likely Time Lash. Eternal Mystery, which is the Blu-ray trailer for it. Studio footage. Does anybody
Speaking
actually
of
watch
that-
the studio footage?
I feel like some people must do, but it feels more like
Not me.
something. It's just there to fill out the space, isn't it? And maybe you'll
Yeah.
stick on at some point more as background viewing rather than actual. You're going to sit there and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
One thing I like in the trailer is when they talk about the info text, you've got Jamie saying, "Look at the size of that one, Doctor," and it's showing you all the
Yes,
key.
Jamie.
Yes, Jamie, this is a big one, isn't it?
It's like 5,000, isn't it? Or something like that.
Ooh, Mel says Ben's bank is always crying.
Don't at me with Big Finish and B&M. Do not at me.
No.
I mean, it's
What's
crying now
crying
because I've had to
more?
buy this.
What's crying more, your bank or the little kid in the B&M aisle?
Probably that little kid.
He's still in the B&M aisle now. They haven't been able to drag him away yet. Whose Book
dear.
says, I'm so excited for season 22 coming to Blu-ray. Also can't wait for the special features. Yeah, it's always nice getting
That's
some new special features.
That is the selling point. The more special features are on a box set, the more likely I feel for me I'm going to dive into it.
I like how you were about to say, I'm going to buy it, but you knew you're buying them anyway. You're too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, it would annoy me having like 21, 23.
Have you already got this on pre-order then as well?
Yeah, I've pre-ordered it.
Yeah, same.
Where'd you go for?
Amazon this time.
How
about you?
HMV.
No.
HMV. I mean, I don't know if you get it any earlier. I mean, I've heard bad things about Zavi. Goes the brand deal with Zavi. Sorry, Zavi. If you want to sponsor us, and please do consider it.
We'll retract that previous statement for you. I've heard nothing but good things about Zavi.
Yes, we highly endorse Zavi.
I mean, Audible, that'd be a good sponsor for us.
Yeah,
not that we use it, but we listen to loads of Big Finish and Audio.
Subscribers
give us a sponsor.
Yeah, why not? We can be that new orangutan. Why don't you try Audible?
Lord.
Going back to season 22.
Yeah. Amazon as well. You don't have to pay upfront for it. You wait for it to come out. So, I mean, usually.
Oh, go on.
Oh, what do HMV do?
HMV do a weird thing where they take a pound out of your bank, and within 10 minutes later, you get that pound back just to make sure you have money in your account. It's so bizarre.
I suppose it makes sense.
It makes sense, but yeah, it's so weird. You're like, I've spent £1, and then 5 minutes later, you've received £1.
Then you think you can lose that pound again along with 44 other ones later on.
You might as well take that £1 and make me have it a bit cheaper then.
Yeah, I suppose that. Yeah, Amazon as well. You get if it goes down in price. I imagine it's the same for HMV, but if it goes down in price, you get the cheapest price that it was at before. It comes out from when you ordered it.
Yeah, I know some people order it like off different websites just to see if they get it early, which you're gonna get it regardless. And you don't really need to worry about them selling out anymore because you know there's going to be re-releases.
Yeah.
So and in the nicest possible way, I don't think that this is going to be a quickly sell out one.
No, I don't think it's going to be as bad as 24 seems to be. But yeah, I can't see it being. I suppose this one's got the draw of Daleks, Cybermen, Second Doctor, and Sontarans as well.
Well, I think every story in season 22's got a a reference back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very much where they went full on with this sort of thing.
Yeah, because Time Lash, you've got a link back to the Third Doctor.
I think, is it just Vengeance then that maybe you don't? But even then, that's got like you're trying to fix the TARDIS, so maybe. Yeah. Whose book says need to watch Special Creatures on season 17 set. Been busy the past few weeks. Probably watch them this weekend. Yeah, that's fair.
There's not too many new really on that.
I've done the Destiny of the Daleks behind the scenes. That's good, and the behind the sofas.
I did the Tom Talks on Sunday, which was interesting. That was an interesting one.
I've been meaning to get round to the one about Douglas Adams.
That's quite good, but I feel like they try and shoehorn Doctor Who in it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
that's
though,
the way it is.
I feel like they've already touched upon the Douglas Adams thing, because on the Pirate Planet DVD, there's a pretty much a documentary about Douglas Adams on that with his family.
Yeah. I suppose it's the thing of you're selling season 17, you've got to have it on there somewhere to get people who maybe aren't as into Doctor Who to get it. Yeah,
but then again, why would they get complete 17?
I don't know.
It's strange.
Yeah. Maybe someone's got a Douglas Adams exclusive collection.
Maybe that probably exists somewhere.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Mel also says Big Finish, B&M, Big Chief Daleks, giant full-size Dalek. The list goes on.
I have not bought the Big Chief Daleks yet.
yet. You got Big Chief Bertry though.
That's the reason I want to get Big Chief Daleks. I can recreate the Day of the Daleks. Yeah.
Money well spent.
Money well spent.
Yeah. So, how different is the Tom Talks from like the In Conversation then?
It's not. You don't hear Matthew Sweet on this one. It's
is it
very
just
much
pure Tom.
It's now that's what I call pure Tom.
Tom Puree.
Tom Puree. That's what I put on my in my bolognese. Yeah, it's interesting because there's like a topic what relates to a season 17 story.
Yeah.
And it like Paris is a fine wine, and it talks about Tom drinking in Soho and like Francis Bacon and all that sort of stuff, and how he's like not a meat eater anymore. Like, yeah, it's interesting how Tom. It's a very mellow and interesting and quite morbid at the end.
Oh.
Because you've got Tom's classic going, I'm a bit scared about dying and all that sort of stuff, But then he's like, I think about how many people have outlived, and he's like, that makes me happy. You're like, oh damn.
Like the Sharda introduction, there's just that hall of people he's outlived. Beat you, cock.
Literally, I feel like that
John
would be a good thing.
Stood there, beat you, cock.
Like, I still believe the little conspiracy theory that Tom Baker's knocking the doctors off one by one.
Yeah, hasn't hit anyone since John Hurt. He's getting a bit slow in his old
pandemic slowed him down a bit.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember before the pandemic? There was like that Big Finish interview where he says, "What's it called? I'm looking forward to the future. I don't know about you though. I hope you survive." And then, obviously,
he knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, quickly wrapping up. Lord. Yeah, quickly wrapping up season 22. We got convention footage with Colin Baker and Jacqueline Pearce and John Nathan Turner. Rare gems from the archive. So I guess that. Oh yeah, got Colin Baker years from the VHS, which is quite cool. Radio serial slip back. That's gonna be quite cool to have.
Oh yeah, that's like pre-Big Finish as well.
Yeah,
from the gap between 22 and 23, isn't it?
I believe so. I've not actually listened to it. I got it when it was like part of the Telegraph when they were giving like CDs away. Not actually listened to it at all. I'm sure on season 11. Go on.
I guess it's not popular enough to animate.
Yeah, true. I guess season 11 will get Ghost of End Space and Paradise
Oh yeah,
of
that
Death
might.
on those.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Infotext, scripts, costume designs, and other rarities on PDF archive. So yeah, 8 discs. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, one last to go.
Yeah, one last bit of news. I'll just load that up. Hopefully, I've got that loaded up. I have.
There's a fairly big bit of news as well. Like, we're used to getting drips and drabs from Big Finish these days when it comes to different announcements and such. But now we got 4 all at once, all the synopsises, all the like main cast, and all the cover art.
They're not hanging about with this, are they?
No, I mean, they have been for a while. But presumably, we're getting the first one next week. But yeah, it's all go now with Torchwood after we've known very little for a while. And I think are you still in a Torchwood mood after the Grey Mare? Or has the hype worn off a bit?
Like I said, Torchwood's that cherry pick range. I mean, I have got one of these by default, which you're going to pick up. So I'm sure we'll talk about in a future stream at a later point. But I am tempted by the Andy one.
Yeah, same. I think after Stranded 3 as well, I'm in an Andy mood.
The Reese one for me, I feel like I've heard it before.
It looks very similar cover-wise to Visiting Hours.
Yeah, it had that vibe to it.
Yeah. That's my least anticipated one of these. Probably won't end up getting that. Might end up getting what's it? Infidel Places. It's a bit blurred on the screen share, so I couldn't quite read it. But yeah, Infidel Places. That one tempts me.
I can't say I feel like we wrapped up the Queen Victoria sort of stuff with
yeah, but I guess
the Crown, but
no. Yeah, going back to Cambridge as well. Yeah, always a great setting.
Get Chronotis.
No, maybe. Well, I mean, he's there technically at the time, isn't he? 300 years he spent there. That's it. I mean, you've got in the synopsis for that, it's about Don's bursting into flames, demons on the loose, a vote again after what was it? Entanglement.
Think it will link back to that?
I don't think so, because this is quite a while before, isn't it? Victorian times, whereas that was 1930s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that one's interesting. It'd be interesting if that's the last of them as well. Or if the range does continue after 60, because 60 does seem like an okay point to end on before they do something different with Torchwood.
It does seem likely because while they have just announced them in bulk.
Yeah. Like, we don't know anything about Torchwood going forward now.
No James Goss.
No. I suppose he's been working quite hard on so many of them now. I think he deserves a break. Also, they seem mostly good writers here.
Yeah, Una McCormack, Lizzie Hopley, Elizabeth Miles. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's David Llewellyn as well.
Yeah, that's the one I got because of a certain story.
Yeah, so this is the replacement for that. This is 50X. And I love the cover for this one. This is definitely my most anticipated of them. And I will be picking this one up. So
it looks very B-movie sci-fi film, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's very much leaning into the 50s.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that one, actually.
Yeah. It feels like it's doing so in a different way to Torchwood Soho. Like, that very much feels black and white TV. Like you say, this feels more like a movie almost.
It sort of has, like, I don't know, Dan Dare look to it.
Yeah, I guess so. I like the Torchwood logo on top of the helmet as well. That's nicely worked.
Oh, that's a nice little touch.
Yeah, I think I much prefer it to the Madame Mime cover. Like, that doesn't really scream 50s.
Yeah.
This you look at and you think, oh yeah, this is 50s. That's right. The Caddick Point cover is quite a nice one as well. It does feel a bit disjointed with like Andy. Like you don't quite think the head fits the body and such, but it's not too bad for what it is. So I might end up picking this one up. This is like second to top, I suppose, if we're going anticipation. And I mean, it's only can't be that long away. I imagine it'll be next week. It could be Monday the 31st, but
it's probably got to be next week, isn't it? Most likely.
Yeah, I think so. Probably maybe Tuesday even. That's like the usual Torchwood day. So, I mean, anything to add about Torchwood here?
They look pretty good, but I'll probably skip just because of other things, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's all down to budget. I suppose that's the thing with Black Knight as well. You've already spent the money on that one.
Yeah. So I don't really feel like I'm missing anything because of that.
Yeah.
But I might see the reviews of Caddick Point, and if they're good, then I might partake in that.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, Who Book says, I'm not really into Torchwood or Big Finish. Might have to pick up Series 5 first and rewatch all of Series 1 to 4 before I listen to Series 5 by Big Finish. That's fair. I think, to be fair, there's a lot of like these little monthly range ones which you can just dive into with very little knowledge of Torchwood in general.
Yeah.
And still get a good story in its own right from. There's not really many overarching things going on with these ones. Yeah. I think it's weird that we've not got any like main cast members here. Like, we've not got Yanto again. We've not got Owen or Tosh. Eve Miles has been absent for a while now since Dissected.
I think is that down to homeschooling? But I think last year really showed that Torchwood has legs beyond the Torchwood hub that we know and saw on TV, really.
Yeah, definitely. It just does feel weird that this, if this is the end of the range, it's an odd way for it to go out, but not a bad way. Hopefully, these do.
Oh no,
like some very good stories. Yesterday says finally news about Torchwood. Stylish One says they announced a load of 2020 ones in bulk too.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think 20. Yeah, they probably did, but like more so recently, just in terms of Big Finish in general, they don't tend to do bulk announcements. Like we had the announcement of the new Sixth Doctor companion, and even some details of her first story, but no like title or writer at all.
Yeah, which is odd.
So I just feel, especially given how long they waited into January to announce Caddick Point, it feels weird now suddenly having all of these and knowing about them. But I'm happy that we finally do.
I mean, I'm happy for the people who have subscribed, but they finally know what they're getting.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's a lot of money to just drop and not know what you're getting. I guess you could say that about a lot of Big Finish, really, when you buy subscribe bundles or whatever. But I think with Torture as well, being left in the dark for that long, you kind of do want to know what you're getting, whether you want to drop that money on it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the Sunny one also reminds me of.
Oh, go on.
Smile.
Yes. Yeah.
It very much is that sort of vibe.
Or is it Instant Karma, the Tortured one with like the emoji things as well?
Yeah, but that's like less that's not really robots, is it? This is very much these weird robots. I mean, yeah, I can live without that one really. So any Yesterday says the mythic absent friends will never see the light of day. I wonder the lack of main cast is in part because of everything that went down last year. I mean, it seems like I forgot his name now. Gareth David Lloyd is probably closest to John Barrowman there, but he's still happy to work with Big Finish. So I can see that the other ones still are.
In the nicest possible way, it's a paycheck.
Yeah, that as well.
Like, yeah.
But I don't know, some actors like Eve Miles don't necessarily need that paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of actors will do Big Finish just more for the fans and for the character and to have fun rather than because that's not a huge amount of money that they get in comparison. Like there are a lot of TV jobs that some actors can get that will do them a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Samuel Barnett's fairly big. Like he's starred in a couple of TV series, but he's still. I think he just likes playing the character and likes working with Big Finish.
Well, he's done a lot really for Big Finish over the years.
Yeah, his role was very much expanded as time's gone on. I mean, how many? He's got 28 results when you search him.
Like
some
Cicero.
of them are podcasts, but yeah, Tartarus.
Yeah, good old Tartarus. Nightshade.
Yeah. Beast of Orlok. That's the first one.
Didn't know he was in that.
No.
Mind you, it's been a long time since I've listened to that.
I mean, is that 2007? That one? Oh, 2009.
I think 2000 and I think it's the third series, so I guess that'll be 2009, 2008.
Yeah, it is 2009. Who Book says, do you think Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi will join Big Finish at some point?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice.
Like maybe the 60th one of them will come back and do something special, but yeah. I mean, Matt Smith certainly is quite busy at the moment with a lot of things. He's got that Game of Thrones prequel series, hasn't he?
That wrapped early this month, so he's technically free. I guess he'd be on the promoting thing, but it's interesting because he was promoting the Edgar Wright film Last Night in Soho, wasn't he, recently?
Yeah. And
he got asked, would you return for Doctor Who's 60th? And he was like, oh, I've not been asked, but I think he's intrigued with Russell now. It was interesting how he sort of shot down prior, like with Chibnall sort of stuff, but I was like, oh, Russell's involved. I'm kind of tempted.
Yeah, it seems like it. He's only been written by Russell once before, hasn't he?
And what a story that is. Really good.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, Bigfoot, like he certainly knows about their existence, like he's talked about them before, but it's all been a bit awkward, really. I suppose it's just public relations things, isn't it?
I remember a podcast, one of the Big Finish podcasts, like ages ago, like we're talking like 2015, when people used to write and go, when are you going to get X, Y, and Z? And they brought up Nick was like, oh yeah, I've been in contact with Matt's agent, and Matt's always said that he wants to do it. But obviously there's something, maybe the agent's not passing the message on, or Matt, who knows?
Yeah. It's funny because when you think back to the time David Tennant was announced, we thought, oh yeah, Matt Smith, he'll be the next one for sure. And now we got Christopher Eccleston.
See, that's what makes me think that anything's possible. We have Eccleston.
Yeah, but at the same time, you think if we've got Eccleston at this point, but not Matt, something's not right there.
I think Capaldi's going to be the one who's going to be quite hard to convince.
And like before he left, we thought, oh yeah, it'll be for definite, but. I mean, Jodie as well. We could. I suppose Jo Martin. She might be the next one.
Yeah, I feel like now with Big Finish, we're waiting for the next big bit of news, like Christopher Eccleston. Like I'm waiting for that next like surge of going, wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, she's got her own comic series announced now, which feels weird, but
Was that like a free comic? Is that the free comic one?
I don't know. I thought it was its own series, but maybe I can't really say I looked into it too
Nah,
much.
I think it was like that free comic book day one. I think.
That might be it. But I mean, certainly she's keen to do Big Finish, so it's just waiting for the rights there.
How come about Capaldi? He says that radio drama is not very glamorous.
I mean, I think it's less that. I think it's more just Doctor Who. He wants to have some time away from now. It seems it feels like he's burnt out with that and wants to do other things.
I think when he was at LFCC, I attended like a little talk he did, and he's like, "I don't want to return. He just wants his Doctor to be out there in the ether, in the universe, just playing his guitar." He's like, "My Doctor wouldn't answer the call for the other Doctors."
But that's something more 60th, isn't it? I guess. Who knows?
But I feel like he's like that to me with Doctor Who.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I don't know whether that's because, I mean, we may find out what happened with Capaldi, whether he was pushed or what, because I feel like Capaldi's heart was so in that show. And I think the way he talks about the show now, it still has love, but I think there's something underneath there, personally.
There's love, but distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jodie doing conventions already suggests she'll be quick to do Big Finish. Yeah. I think Jodie's definitely going to do Big Finish. Definitely.
Millbrook says, I remember I cried with joy when Christopher Eccleston was announced for Big Finish. It was a
Didn't
great
we
day.
all? Didn't we all? Oh. And we're nearly finishing his first series of Big Finish. Crazy times.
And then we're going straight into his second.
I know. No gap at all. It's just like, bam. Have some more Eccleston.
I mean, we've got a cover for Out of Time 3 Wink. By the time we get that, we'll only be 1 month away from the second box set of Eccleston's second series.
Blimey.
That's bizarre.
Ben will do a video on Doctor Who Flux AK Series 13 still, but hopefully I'd like to do it. Obviously, I've got to watch the actual thing to see what's on each disc, and I guess the special features are online, but I want to have a quick look before I can properly talk about it just yet.
That's fair. Yeah, any other last questions, I guess?
Yeah, and then we'll wrap it up then. So yeah, fire any questions. I think the Doctor will come back for the 65th. David, yeah, David's definitely got to come back.
Yeah, especially with Russell there, I think even more there's like that joy about it. Do you think Torchwood will switch to a box set format, even though the non-Soho box sets didn't sell well, our stylish one? I haven't really heard about the non-Soho box sets selling well. But I feel like if the monthly range can sell well, then having that same thing like bundled up into 3 stories, a box set would also work.
I can see it going down that line, but I think people like the convenience of it.
Don't
know.
Yeah, like having Andy and Owen together for a box set. We've like spoke about that possibility before. I think that would be good to tell like one long story with them rather than just the one episode. There's potential there. I mean, what other ones are?
I could see them doing, like with the Fourth Doctor Adventures, where they have like the box set, but you can download the stories individually.
Oh yeah, maybe that.
I feel like they could do something like that.
So the Torchwood Outbreak and Torchwood Believe not sell that well then?
I guess because they're going out of print, and I guess Torchwood 1 is as well.
That's not really a confirmation, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe with everything that's happening with John Barrowman at the moment, they're just trying to get rid of those ones. Who knows?
Which makes sense. Hope for future Doctor Chronicle box sets. I don't know, to be honest. I feel like with the Chronicle box sets, you kind of want to wait until we get the actual actor before we do like deep stuff like trends lore and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you sort of just want surface level stories, I guess.
Yeah,
Like, not in terms of within the stories themselves. But yeah, you don't want to cut into the lore of that Doctor too much. Like, you don't want to fill any big gaps with them and jump the gun before you then get the actual actor.
thoughts on second flip and Sixth Doctor trilogy? I enjoyed it actually. I quite like Antidote to Oblivion. It's got a character from Mission to Magnus in there, that bully character. He appears again in it. Nice to have Silback within it. Broad of Eris written by Andrew Smith. That's a nice one. That's a fun story. And I've not listened to Scavenger.
I've got
go
all
on.
3 of those. I listened to part 1 of both Antidote and Brood of Eris, but just never ended up carrying on with them.
That's fair enough.
I mean, it's not down to the stories necessarily. I don't know, I just didn't have the enthusiasm at the time, I guess, to continue on. You sort of like, you get to the point where you think it's been so long since I listened to that part 1 now.
It'd be like
It's not really worth going back to part 2. I need to do part 1 again.
Yeah, it'd be like having a new story.
Yeah.
Anyone going to any conventions? I'm going to Wales Comic Con to meet David Tan, Sylvester McCoy, and also MCOM to meet Arthur Darvill and Kevin McNally. I hope you have a good time. I feel a bit, I don't know about conventions. Like, I am tempted by London to meet Jodie, but then I'm like, it's 75 quid. COVID's still around. Are you going to have a good experience meeting those people? And you're paying a lot of money to meet some of these people, so you want to have like the best experience you can. And yeah, for me, it's a big question mark conventions this year.
Yeah, it's like still very much an awkward time with COVID, isn't it?
Yeah.
Favorite individual cover from each Dalek Universe box set and the 10th Doctor and River Song box set. I mean, Trojan Dalek from Dalek Universe 2, definitely.
Yeah, very good.
And Dalek Universe 3, I'd say, what's that last? Triumph of Davros?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Dalek Universe 1 is the harder one. There's not a clear winner there as much, I'd say. What one jumps out to you most?
For Dalek Universe?
Yeah.
Trojan Dalek, I could say. I quite like Buying Time. It's simple, but I really like it.
Yeah, it has that old feel of the concept art, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe a Torchwood cover.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, maybe that or House of Kingdom for me from the first set. I like that with the triangle design. What about Dalek Universe 3 for you?
I would say Triumph for Davros is a nice cover.
Yeah. And then 10th Doctor River Song expiry dating probably gets my vote as the best.
I think in terms of story, yeah, but I feel like Ghosts is a better cover.
Oh, really? I'd say that's probably my least favourite cover. Just feels a bit basic. I'd maybe even go Precious Annihilation as the better cover.
Damn.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the episode, but I do quite like that cover. It's like got enough colour to it, but it doesn't feel like a mess.
Yeah. Recommendations from the Tom Baker birthday sale, bearing in mind my thoughts on Series 8 Volume 1. Yeah, is it Series 7 to Series 10, isn't it, on sale at the minute?
Yeah. I'd probably say Series 9's a decent one.
I mean, for Chase for Night, that's worth it for Chase for Night.
Yeah, maybe just Volume 1. Although Volume 2's good as well.
Volume 2's the better one.
Yeah, it's that
More
awkward of Chase the
consistent.
Knight's the best story, but Volume 2's better overall. I mean, Series 7 I have come around on, but maybe better off avoided, given your thoughts on Series 8. I mean, Child of the Sun, if you've not got that one's on sale. That's just one story on its own, so it's cheap and easy to pick up.
Or Tom Baker at 80. If you don't have that, that's definitely worth your time. For I think that's like £3.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah. Series 10 volume, is it volume 1? That's a good, I'd say that's worth a little listen, I think.
Yeah. Yesterday says, take care all. Next time I'll try not to join at the end, lol. Thank you for joining us yesterday.
No, thank you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'd say sometimes you just miss the announcement of them, really. And like the YouTube algorithm's not always the most helpful with this sort of thing. So
and this was lately set up, like literally a couple of months before we went live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're never on time anyway. So if you were here on time, you'd be sat around for about half an hour waiting for us to start.
Because we like to have a little chin wag before we start. Finished Game of Thrones? Yes, I have. I finished it finally.
Oh, you've finally done it.
Finally done it.
Oh,
And
was it like peeling the wax off?
Yeah, it was pretty naff.
Oh.
It was all right. It wasn't as bad as what people say, but yeah, it's not the best way to conclude that series.
I suppose you went into it with the mindset of it, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
You like knew it would be disappointing, whereas people went in hyped up for it and were let down.
The thing is, we're Doctor Who fans. We know how bad finales can be. So I was like, oh, it'll be all right. It's all right. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird when Capaldi joins Big Finish since his body has been cannibalized for so many other covers. That's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
But, Genetics of the Daleks stands out.
Yeah, I think Out of Time. Yeah.
Yeah, Out of Time 1 is.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much done. Would you say for tonight?
I'd say so. We've got a good bit of mileage out of 2 news stories and a tier list.
Yeah, and nice little active chat, which we appreciate.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you all for joining us. And we shall be back next week for one installment, unless there's some big groundbreaking news.
Who knows?
Who knows? There could be. We could have the next Doctor. I could say that jokingly, and that actually happens. Yeah. Do you want to announce the next one?
Yeah, I suppose. Are we going for that one then?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Since it looks pretty likely that Peladon will be out on the Saturday, and we always do our streams on the Friday, we thought we'd do Prepping for Peladon on Friday as we look back at Curse, Monster, a quick chat about some of the big finishes there as well, and maybe our last minute hopes for that box set. I mean, might get a preview on the Big Finish podcast that we can listen to and get a taste for what that's going to be like before we dive into it the next day. Unless Big Finish surprises us, decides not to do it on the anniversary, we get it during the week. Maybe it'll just be a Peladon
special
review then. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, that should be good bit of fun. And then a more classic Who-based one, and we know our opinions there sometimes have interesting responses.
That is very true.
But nevertheless, tied to Big Finish in a way. And then hopefully start of February next one along, we'll bring back Big Finish fans proper, maybe go back to some old favourites, or maybe the Annihilators be out by then.
Yeah, I mean, we could do Eighth Doctor and Charlie. That could be a nice little one to do. Since that's out.
Yeah, could do that as well.
Yeah, so thank you
lots
everyone.
Of options out there for us to go for. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, we've got plenty of ideas. We're definitely not short of them. So yeah,
we'll be going back to the Cybermen at some point as well. with a
Yeah.
we did our Dalek stories tier list. We're giving that a month to cool off, given the heated response to that one, and then we'll dive into Cybermen and go for a monster a month. I think is the plan, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be
See-
nice. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, have it be like a little regular series. See how many monsters we can get through because
How many monsters we can milk?
yeah, in terms of tier lists, you need at least a few
Yeah,
stories with them.
could do a Quark tier list.
Yeah,
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for enjoying us just rumble on about Doctor Who and Flux. And yeah, we've done What the Flux. Over.
yeah,
Finito's.
yeah. We finally rounded it off. We finished the series. Bit unconventional way, but nevertheless,
We did it.
We got back round to it.
We did it. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next Friday on the Planet Paladin. So thank you everyone. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.